Shalom, shalom.
Good morning.
Welcome back to the Fig Tree Generation, our little YouTube channel. And hope y'all are doing great. Spring is upon us. Passover, I know a lot of people are having Passover. The spring feasts have started.
I think that a lot of them have already had it.
Yeah, a lot of them have already
Yeah.
had it. We're still waiting. You can look around. Spring is happening, and the sun has entered the fourth gate. Possibly, the sun we believe, is in Aries right now, and
No. He's dragging her by his foot.
oh, sorry, we have a puppy running around. So we believe the sun is in Aries, the moon has entered Virgo and about to make its conjunction with Spica, the wheat, signifying the ingathering, or the early harvest. So there's a lot there. This is not about a calendar, though.
No, it's not, but it is, saying, Happy New Year, because we really haven't, our last video was about a month ago, I think right before the Biblical New Year and the Spring Feast kickoff.
Yeah.
So we haven't, we've been a little MIA since then, and so we're just saying Happy New Year, Happy Spring Feast. People are counting, a lot of people are counting the Omer right now.
I actually don't know if it's the New Year, but yes.
Okay,
yeah.
well, anyways,
we talk about this, right? We talk about this.
It's somebody's New Year, though.
It is somebody's New Year, yes.
It's somebody's New Year, so even if it's not ours, it's somebody's, and so we're saying Happy New Year to those that have begun their New Year.
But we have talked about the fall. I know this is not a calendar video, so we don't need to talk about the calendar, but because I don't know that any of us have really figured it out just yet. We were like this close just to going back to, the Jewish this year.
Yeah.
So the one that are followed by the Jews today.
Hillel, Chabad.
Yeah, just for the fact of not completely knowing. So anyways.
But here we are.
Yes.
And we are close to our Passover, our Pesach. We're excited. We've had some changes on our land and some changes with, our farm, and kind of reprioritizing and refocusing, and really trying to diligently be good stewards of our land.
Sure.
And what God's given us. And so
It's been great.
Yeah, it's been really good. We feel like, I don't know if anybody else feels this way, but sometimes it's been a release of sorts, even though it's not our 7th year. We're actually in our second year of our
7-year count.
Of our 7-year count.
Yeah.
But it's felt like there's a new chapter, a new season for our family, for us. I don't know if some people feel that way, not like necessarily right now in your own life, but just those times when there is just a yearning for change and a yearning for something new in your life, and you sort of are like leaning into the Spirit and just trying to listen to that still small voice, but also not really knowing what that looks like. I don't even know what I'm trying to say, but
yeah,
we feel like there's a new season upon us.
We didn't know what this was going to look like, building our own house, moving out of the city. Yeah. But we did it, and we did it back in 2017 because we felt this yearning to get out of the city.
Yeah.
It felt like, that Obama purchased 37,000 guillotines. So we were like, let's get out of the city, their FEMA camps and all that jazz, and then there was the, flat earth.
Things happening.
Blood moon tetrads and the eclipse, solar eclipse as well. So all that, and the Revelation 12 sign that kind of woke a lot of people up. And so I was waking up in that time and like, let's get out. And I think I'm feeling it again, kind of this, I've been feeling it constantly. I think is continually like stripping things of us and showing us what to do. But I feel it again. I feel like there's just something yearning inside of me, inside of you as well. Like that maybe we need to make a kind of a drastic change. But I think that's what we're kind of in right now, is just making some changes in our own lives. So, and I think to live in a state like that, not in a state of fear, but in a state of preparedness. And I don't mean like impermanence. That is like my mantra lately, is this word impermanence. Yeah. It's so good because we are taught, especially here in the States, to make your forever home, or make everything perfect. Even when you build a house, like there's so many things, and it's like you got to do it this way and this way. It's like, okay, everything is impermanent. And when you embrace the impermanence of life, even doing a garden or whatever, it's actually the imperfections are actually perfection. Look at Yah's creation,
Yeah.
and you can see these. I mean, these trees out back here are not perfect. They've got holes in them. They've got places where they've gotten destroyed and branches have ripped off of them, and they heal back over themselves and become even greater from their imperfections.
Yes.
And so I think we're looking at kind of life a little differently. Maybe it's our age, I don't know, but looking at life as not being, and it sounds stupid, but as not being permanent. Like we should have already known that, but just living life more for this idea of impermanence rather than living life to like the way we're told to do it. Is like no, you need to protect this, do this,
yeah, and prolong your life.
Yeah.
Well, and so we just finished up our Leviticus study. We just jumped into Exodus, and the verse I think that just sort of sealed that idea for us and confirmed that idea for us was a verse that Yahuwah says. He's talking to Moshe in Leviticus 25, and it's beautiful because it comes right after letting your land rest. It's all about the rest year, the 7th year. And he says, and the land is not to be sold beyond reclaim. The land is mine for you for you are sojourners and settlers with me.
That's amazing.
Or guests. The word is guests in the Aramaic Targum. And I love that because it really does hit home this idea of impermanence. That we are just truly sojourners. We're guests in the land with Yah.
Well, so is Yah. He's a sojourner. We're to be pilgrims here, and so is Yah. I think it's incredible too. I was reading the other day, and I was telling you about this. 1 Chronicles 17:5.
Yes.
This is when David's wanting to build the temple, and he's saying, I'm sitting here dwelling in a house of cedar while the Ark of the Covenant is sitting here in a tent with curtains. And Yah says, I like dwelling in curtains. Why would you make me a house? I wanted to be in a tent because it's impermanent.
Mm-hmm. It gives the idea of temporary.
Sure, yeah. And I mean, it sounds like it should be an aha moment for us because that is a very, normal thing. I was fixing it. That seems like something we should already know. And we do know, of course, that, you watch like that show House Hunters, remember that? They're always saying we're gonna find our forever home or we're gonna build our forever home, and you're like you don't have a forever home. What are you talking about? This life right here is not forever. The next one can be.
Yeah.
Why don't we build that home?
Well, I feel like I said this maybe once before in a video, but we talk about kingdom building all the time, but yeah, it's really like we are told to build our kingdoms here.
That sounds so kitschy. Kingdom building.
It is, but it's really
true.
But it's true. I mean, it's kind of like, it's like, oh, we should be, everything is building for the kingdom, but it's like, but we're actually like building our kingdoms here. Like in all reality,
we're saying that we're building our kingdom here,
as we're saying that, the realization of that is actually, well, no, we're actually, we have a neighbor and he's been building this beautiful home for almost 2 years. I think just trying to get it so right and so perfect and structurally sound and structurally safe for his family. And I'm like, anything could happen to any of our homes at any point in time. And the more we do a lot of purging in our home constantly. There's no such thing as like spring cleaning in our home. It's more like there's always this urge within us. I think when we feel like we have too much or we have this excess, and so we go, and I just recently did this in my closet, and we have a very tiny closet that we both share. Yeah. It's not very large, and I don't feel like I have that much, but I somehow purged 5 garbage bags full of stuff. Yeah. And I was like, and I still feel like I have too much. I'm like, oh, it's just like in this stripping. We talked about this morning, like the stripping.
We've always done that, just having these purging moments is where we just love to go and strip everything.
Yes, but I feel that way about our home too. Like we have put so much, like there literal blood, sweat, and tears and everything. Like we put down so many roots, like physical roots on this land, and I have grown very attached to our home and very attached to our land. And I don't know, the more I guess I get older, the less I'm like, okay, yeah, if this isn't where we're supposed to be, if you want to move us, if you want to shift the direction of our lives, I want to be willing um, to do that. I
Yeah.
don't want to be so stuck in what I think you want for me, that it's more my desire versus your desire, my will versus your will. And so I want to be moldable. I want to be shaped. I want to be able to be shaped and do what his will is for us. And so I
Yeah.
don't want to be attached to a home. It'd be very easy, and it has been very easy to be like, okay, our home is finally done. It's taken us years to build our home
Yeah.
because we did it
It's
ourselves.
actually not done. We
It's
got
still
things
not
to do.
done, but it's at a place where it's not in construction mode, and you're kind
Yeah.
of like, you get comfortable and you get kind of settled and you get kind of like, this is nice. Like, this is sort of the easy life. You know, we're both retired. We work, not really, but, from the world.
Yeah.
And so we run our own business, and we kind of control our own schedule, and we control our day, and we control our steps,
Yeah.
but I really want Yah, like Proverbs 16:9 says, I really want him to direct our steps. I don't know. I
That's
really
a
want all
hard
this.
that's a hard balance because I always think that sometimes Yah's waiting on us,
Yep.
and sometimes we're to wait on Him. So I think there's a balance for that. I don't think we're always supposed to wait on Yah. I think there are times when He's like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
If you ever look at when Yah visits man or talks to prophets, or even angels talk to prophets,
Yeah.
they talk to us like we, like we should know what we're doing. They're like, "Why are you afraid? Why don't you know what to do? What are you doing?" It's quite fascinating.
We lack
Um,
such confidence, I feel like.
we
We
do.
lack.
I think they're like, "You're made in the image of Yah. Why don't you know what to do? You already know what to do." What was that verse I was reading? It's absolutely incredible. It's the just shall live by faith. We all
Oh,
know this
yes.
verse. It's
Well, it comes from Hosea.
Habakkuk.
No, Habakkuk. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, Paul quotes this: "The just shall live by faith." Habakkuk says this. If you read it in the Targum, though, Yah says
You
basically,
should read it. Do you mean to get? You want to grab it? It's so good. You should just read the
might as
whole thing.
might as
Okay,
well.
I'll get it.
Yeah, so
Just one sec.
yeah, we'll read this because everything, if we just are vigilant in the word, it all goes back to the Torah. It all goes back to the instructions of Yah, which is the whole reason we do this channel. While talking about millennial kingdom, we're going to get into Isaiah 11 right now and talk about millennial kingdom, the lion laying down with the lamb, or the wolf, whichever you prefer. And so we're going to talk about that, but everything in this channel, everything in the Word, it all goes back to the instructions of the Most High. That's the only reason we do this. If you have woken up to the truths of this, or the lies of this world, and some of the truths of what Scripture says, and you still haven't grasped the Torah, if you believe in the mud flood and you think the time has changed and the millennial kingdom happened and we're in the little season, all these amazing cool little
Prophetic.
things that we can look into and believe, and you still haven't grasped the whole knowledge of the truth.
The whole duty of man.
Yeah, the verse that says always learning but unable to come to the knowledge of the truth. If you still haven't done that, it's the last conspiracy for you to figure this out. The Torah is the biggest conspiracy. It is the one that has been put away with and lied about since the very beginning. Okay? I'm just telling you, every single jot and tittle of the Torah is forever.
Yeah.
It's incredible, and it is the way of life. It's like you said, the whole duty of man. It's what we're supposed to be doing here. You are in a gestation period. All of us sitting here, we're in a womb. We are in a gestation
That's good.
period in this world,
Yeah.
learning and growing in the womb so we can experience the next life. It's going to decide our next life. And you have to be born again. All of us are going to be born again one day. And when you're born again one day, are you going to be born to corruption, or are you going to be born to everlasting life, paradise? That's what I want.
Yep.
And I know you want that too. Every human being is alike. We all want paradise. Whether or not we know it or not, we want paradise. So, sorry. We got all kinds of babies.
Where the puppy is. He might be up there. Frankie! Sorry.
We got puppies and we got chicks running around. I don't know.
where he's
But
at.
anyways, I'm sure it's fine.
Okay.
So yeah, so I want to read the. What were we even talking about?
So
This
the
is yeah.
well, we're talking about, well, how are we supposed to live this life, right? And I think it's by faith. We walk by faith. We live by faith. Go ahead.
But what does this mean? Yeah,
What does it mean?
so the whole chapter 1 of Habakkuk, basically I mean, you can go read it. We're not going to read the whole thing. That's not what this video is about. But the whole chapter 1, Habakkuk's like, hey, all this is happening. Temples get destroyed. Babylon's coming. We're in fear. We're at war. What in the world's going to happen? He's kind of freaking out. And he's like, Yah, don't you see? Can't you just stand up and help your people? And Yah says this, and it's exactly what I was talking about. He said, and I was answered from Yahweh, and he said, the prophecy is written and expressed clearly in the book of the Torah, so that whoever reads it may hasten to be wise. I love that, because because Yah is like, he's always this way. He's always like, I already told you. Yeah. I already wrote it down. You should read it. Just read it, and you know it.
You were thinking Rob said. I wrote what I wrote.
Rob Skiba, I remember when he was going through, and he expressed this on his channel when he was alive, and he would say, you know, when he was going through flat Earth and understanding and trying to figure it out.
He's got something in his mouth.
You want to go get him?
No, not if it's a mouse.
Sorry, guys. So anyway, Rob Skiba on his channel, he said, you know, when he was kind of going over flat Earth, he was like, is this right? Is the Earth really flat? And he either heard in his spirit or audibly, I'm not sure, but he heard Yah say, I wrote what I wrote. You know, I wrote what I wrote, and I think that's exactly how it's always responded. We get, you know, a response from Yah. Is that it's simple. We want to know what to do in life. We have big questions. What should we do? What should we do here? What kind of decision we should make? It's already written. Everything's already written. It's expressed clearly in the Torah, and you can find that out. But anyways, so you just keep reading, and it says, for the prophecy is ready for a time, and the end is fixed, and shall not fail. If there is a delay in the matter, wait for it. For it shall come its time, and shall not be deferred. Behold, the wicked think that all things are not so, but the righteous shall live by the truth of them. I love that, because that is the verse that says, the just shall live by faith. But when you look at the words just and faith in there, the just is the righteous, and the faith is the truth. So the righteous shall live by the truth of what? It says of them, of the prophecies written, clearly expressed in the book of the Torah. Mm-hmm. So the just shall live by faith. It's actually not kind of like that. It's more like the just, the righteous shall live by the things written in the Torah, the truth. So guys, if you haven't come to this knowledge yet, I know a lot of y'all are Torah followers, but if you love conspiracy and you're here because of the little season or whatever, and you haven't come to the biggest knowledge of the biggest conspiracy in the world, the hiding of the instructions of Yahuwah, it's amazing. They're incredible. And you already keep it anyways. Your spirit knows to keep it. There's a lot of things you already keep. Yeah. But there are a lot of things that you need to look in the mirror. It's just like Paul says. You don't be like a man who looks in the mirror and then walks away and forgets what he looks like. Look in the mirror, examine yourself, and understand the sin that's in your life and fix it. Change it. Because we got this mirror here that I've had on my nightstand since I was 5 years old. And I just now started reading it when I was about 35. I'm 43 right now, so I should be seasoned, right? I should be eight years in reading this word. But I'm still finding, like you said, we just read Leviticus, and we're still finding these incredible nuggets of truth that we're like, like so beautiful.
And Exodus, we were just, same thing, same with Exodus. But you said something about just looking into the mirror and examining our hearts, examining our lives, recognizing the sin. And that just makes me think of something that we're studying and we've been talking a lot about, which is generational curses and inherited sins, I guess, genetic sins.
Changing your DNA.
Changing your DNA, and that's something I think we want to talk about on a future video, but also embracing the curse that we were given from the very beginning. Yeah. Because of the sin of, one man and one woman. Yeah. And the curse that is kind of a forever curse for all of us. For each of us. This
world run by Hasatan is trying to circumvent the curse.
Yes.
It
causes us to believe that curse no longer applies.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, and I think embracing that curse in two ways. I mean, you're embracing the curse that
Yeah.
is upon you, but you're also embracing what causes the curse. If you read Deuteronomy 27 sets forth the blessings and the curses. Embrace what causes curses. How can you live your life and do away with those verses? How can you believe and think that, Paul tells us, well, we don't do the Torah. You're actually doing away with what causes the curse. And you need to understand the curses that come from transgressing the Torah. Because if you don't care about the Torah, then all you're doing is accepting curses into your life unknowingly and knowingly.
Yeah.
And so we've woken up, like I said, we woke up about around 8 years ago, 9 years ago or so. Well, it's probably been 8 years ago, and 2017. And we woke up and we have inherited lies from our fathers and curses. So many genetic curses, family curses, curses from our own sin, uh, and hopefully we're trying to rid ourselves of these. These curses are like parasites, so trying to cleanse our bodies, but our souls too, and our emotional state, everything. Of these curses in our mind. These things are like the Gospel Cook Lady says it's amazing. Says it amazingly. It's like a weeping sore in your mind, like these things that actually defile you, like adultery, fornication, covetousness, idolatries, things like that. They're like weeping sores in your mind,
Yeah.
and they're constantly weeping and constantly causing issues and getting infected. If we just allow the curse to keep going. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
it.
So we want to talk about Isaiah 11. So thank you if you stuck around to hear that right there. But Isaiah 11, this is fascinating. I think this is the reason we want to talk about this, and this is the whole reason we kind of did our Daniel study. If you want to go back and watch that, I don't think anyone ever goes back and watches old videos. I don't.
I know, isn't that funny?
I don't.
It's
I
the same
always.
thing with like looking at old posts on Instagram. Nobody goes to see what you're, unless someone's like.
Sometimes I do, but it just depends. I don't know. I think
we're
it
we want the next thing.
itching ears, right? Yeah.
Right.
I think that was something we have to all watch out for. But if you do want to go back, that we did a Daniel study. I think it's okay. I don't remember.
Okay,
I don't
but
remember what I
relative
said.
to Isaiah 11.
Well, Isaiah 11, the whole thing, Isaiah 11, and this is kind of what we want to hit home. But there's so many cool things in here. There's no 2,000-year gap. And
You've been saying that for years.
I've been saying that for
Since
so
we started
long.
this channel.
I've been saying that for so long. If you would just read what Yeshua said, what John said, all these early writers of the New Testament or the newer writings, what they're saying is that the kingdom is here, it's coming, get ready, repent, it's nigh. All these things are shortly coming to pass, the things in Revelation. I mean, it's just all throughout Scripture. And then when you read the prophets should be telling us, because Yah does nothing without revealing it to his prophets first. So the prophets should be, I just read in Habakkuk. Habakkuk's like the prophecies written in the Torah. Come on, you should know this. That's what Yah's saying. He's like, look at my prophets, I already wrote it. If you want to know when the millennial kingdom happened, it's already in there. So you look at it, there is no prophecy for a 2,000-year gap of nothingness. Yeshua comes, wait 2,000 years, and he'll come back.
Still waiting.
There is,
Still waiting.
excuse me, there is something, yeah, by the way, and I say this too, I've said this a lot, if we're 2,000 years removed. If the prophets said so, it could be 10,000 years.
Exactly.
It could be 10,000 years from now. It could be 1,000,000 years from now if the prophets said so, but they don't. And they don't even tell us 2,000. There's only one that maybe it's in Hosea, but if we read different versions of it, I don't think so. But the one in Hosea says 2 days I will revive you, or 3 days it says 2 days I will revive you, 3 days I will raise you up.
Yeah.
So that could be 2,000 years, and the third day I will raise you up. It's possible, but I actually think that kind of, of course I do think that is the crucifixion, but I think it could almost be like in 2 days I will revive you. So after the millennium kingdom, I will revive you and take you to paradise, the last call to paradise. And then on the third day, we're looking for the resurrection. I do believe we're on the third day after Messiah, which is the 7,500-year mark. Okay, anyways, let's go. So it says, and you may read it? Or do you want to read it?
Let me read, because you need to say.
Okay, go ahead and read.
And a rod shall come forth from the stump of Jesse, and a sprout from his roots shall be fruitful. The spirit of Yahweh shall rest upon him, the spirit of wisdom and understanding, the spirit of counsel and might, the spirit of knowledge and the fear of the fear of Yahweh.
And that's hard right there. You got three spirits of Yah that are not in the Trinity. Also, if you read Revelation, you have seven spirits of Yah. Um, you know, for you Trinitarians out there, I don't got a problem with the Trinity. I think it's great. There are parts of it that I definitely see. I think it's amazing.
Yeah.
Just to try to understand Yahweh.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem with the Trinity and the believers of the Trinity is they're doing away with the Torah or the instructions of Yah.
Yeah.
And that's what they do. They use the divinity of Messiah, making him a divine God, or making him the God, or
Yes.
part of the Father, or the Father. By making him that, he is able to do away with the instructions of the Father, which is absolutely ridiculous. He can't be divided against himself, because he will not stand.
Yes.
So it's utterly ridiculous. But I mean, things like this right here, and I don't mean to comment on every single thing, but if we go back to verse 1,
Yeah.
we talk about the branch that's coming from Jesse. Obviously, this is the Davidic line, and we could go into so much about this. This is a line that is forever. Same with the Levites.
Yeah.
There's so many verses telling us that both of these lines are forever. LXX, Targum, Masoretic, doesn't matter what translation. Don't let someone tell you that's only in the Masoretic, okay? Because the LXX says it as well. I realized Jeremiah 33 is not in the LXX. That's just for those people who are going to question what I just said. But the branch is all spoken about in a little bit in Obadiah. It's in it might be in Habakkuk. What's the other? What's in Zechariah? It's really spoken about in Zechariah, and I do believe it's talking about at this time. Isaiah is where they are in history. I do believe this branch is talking about Joshua the son of Yosedek.
Yes. Zechariah 6 mentions a man whose name is the branch. Jeremiah 23, a branch of righteousness, a king who will execute judgment and righteousness.
Yeah. It's in Haggai as well. I'm sorry, it's in Obadiah, Haggai,
Zechariah, Jeremiah.
Yeah, it's in a lot of them, but it is talking about. So you want to say hi?
This is a puppy. This is Frankie. Yeah, this is Frankie. Okay.
Yeah, it's in Haggai 2:2. It's in a number of places. Also talking about an Esdras, a second Esdras, and yeah. So I mean, this branch is first referred to as him. It's just the Davidic line, obviously, and obviously it's talking about Messiah as well, coming from the same branch of Jesse. But anyways, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. And verse 3, and shall make him breathe in the fear of Yahweh, and he shall not judge by the sight of his eyes, nor decide by the hearing of his ears. But with righteousness he shall judge the poor, and shall decide with straightness for the meek ones of the earth, and shall strike the earth with the rod of his mouth, and slay the wrong with the breath of his lips. Can we stop there?
Well, I mean, obviously, I think we would all agree that Yeshua did this. That he was judging the heart of man, reproving the meek, reproving the equity for the meek of the earth, standing up for the poor of the earth. But I don't think we really get a full picture of this in just his ministry, just what we have written in the Gospels. I think we get a full picture of this in the next 500 years after him, which is the perverse generation, Enoch 93. It's the perverse generation that comes forth, that the seed had to be planted. The seed of the kingdom was planted. We know from the parable of the kingdom that a seed's planted, the mustard seed, it's like the kingdom. It gets planted. It's the smallest seed. And when you plant a seed has to die. Yeah. So it becomes dry, and this kind of like this dead casing that goes into the ground. That's the symbol of your body being dead and put in the earth. And you had how many seeds were planted? We know at least 11. 11 of the 12, excluding John, were planted into the earth. And then you had all their disciples planted into the earth. Yeah. Yeshua also being the main seed planted into the earth. And from that comes forth the trees. And the trees become, great. They spread to everywhere where all the birds of the earth lodge in them.
Yeah.
So this is the kingdom. So that's what we see starting with Yeshua's ministry in the Gospels, and then the next 500 years, it took death to bring it on. So much death and destruction. We're going to read about one of those moments in the Acts of Philip here in just a second, because it's phenomenal what actually went on. And if you read some of the extra biblical Gospels, don't let someone tell you it's Gnostic. You are strong enough, you are smart enough to test things out for yourself. Should be wise enough. If you do follow the Torah, that's what I believe you need in order to test these things. Okay? Mm-hmm. And the reason is because what are you testing it against? If you deny the Torah, you're going to have a hard time testing certain things, because you can't test it against anything. You can test it against what you think is written in the New Testament, mm-hmm. but if you're denying the Torah, you're denying the very definition of what makes Messiah, mm-hmm. and what makes people righteous. So how can you know if anything's righteous or not? Seems pretty simple, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay. All right. So I don't know where I was going with this. Oh, I was just saying that I think this is what this branch is going to do, Yeshua. Well, just keep going.
Yeah, okay, so verse 5. And righteousness shall be the girdle of his loins, and trustworthiness the girdle of his waist. And a wolf shall sojourn with the lamb, and a leopard lie down with the young goat, and the calf and the young lion and the fatling together, and a little child leads them. Okay, so before, I know you're going to go into this, but in the Aramaic Targum, as we read this or read this side by side, it says, in the days of the Messiah of Israel shall peace increase in the land. So that precedes verse 6 in the Masoretic. That part right there precedes it in the Aramaic before it says a wolf will basically lay down with the lamb. So, which I think is interesting. I think it's fascinating, because the more I read the Aramaic version of Isaiah, the more millennial kingdom forward it is. It's more about Messiah's reign, his second advent.
Sure, yeah.
More so than what you kind of read Isaiah, and it all seems, it's definitely prophetic, but it definitely feels, especially when you get into Isaiah 53, it feels more about his first advent as the suffering servant. And so, anyways, I know we'll kind of talk a little bit more about that, but when you read it in the Aramaic, it's just very much like in the days of Messiah, meaning his second advent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think too, when we're talking about second coming and things like that, we've done a video on this called the many appearings.
Many comings of Messiah.
Yeah, something like that, because it's like we believe he came back many times. There's the Epistle of Apollos, which says he came back in 70 AD at the destruction of the temple and resurrected the apostles and took John with him. There is he walked the Americas, many traditions of the American Indians and North and South American Indians. These Indian tribes all talk about a prophet coming over there with 12 disciples, talking to them, and this was about 2,000 years ago, right after his ministry in Jerusalem. We have other times when he's appearing as a boy in some of the Gospels. As he, Acts of Philip right here, he comes down, appears with John. And so, this is the job of a Melchizedek priest. If you read the Order of the Ancients, Melchizedek can transcend the veil being the firmament, or the firmaments. So a Melchizedek, once you become a Melchizedek, a priest for Yahweh, you can come back and forth. You can, you do service to Yah in the temple of Yah in paradise. Or New Jerusalem, if they're not the same thing, and you can come back down to this earth and minister unto human beings. This is the resurrected saints that we see, especially in the hagiography reports. If you read any of those, you know that that's what they did. Yeah. And we're finding that a lot of those hagiographies, at least we can confirm that the ones we have read are true. So if you have read them, it's absolutely mind-blowing to know that is what is being hidden from us, and what these books all over the world were burned by the Catholic Church and put into their vaults. Something that the other day I was reading, they have 53 miles of books. 53 miles of bookcases. I would love to see it, because that would be, you think of a normal bookcase is probably maybe 8 layers or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to know how much that is. But anyways, so anyways, when we look at this, there's no 2,000 year gap. It's not saying the branch is going to come from Jesse. 2,000 years later, he's going to come and exact vengeance on the wicked. He's going to stand up for the meek. We don't see that. It's just this is the branch comes. This is what's going to happen, and this is a huge deal, and I think this is why we've been woken up. A lot of us around here have been woken up to the little season eschatology and the millennial kingdom, because this is something that's been hidden by our controllers who have rewritten history to try to hide what exactly has happened, and try to hide the actual rule of Messiah.
Yeah.
Can you look around? I mean, look around. Is Messiah not king? You ask any Christian today and say, who's your king? Who's the king of kings? And they would say, oh, Yeshua, Jesus.
Yeah.
Jesus, King of Kings. So any Christian, no more, even if they believe in the rapture, eschatology, or whatever, would agree that he's king. Because he is. You know.
Well, and so where it says the wolf will sojourn with the lamb, the leopard with the young goat, the calf with the lion, and the little child leads them, and then the next verse says the cow, the bear shall feed, their young ones lie down together. I mean, it's basically talking about there's the peace, right? This is all about the time of peace, and that's what I think you do gather from the Aramaic Targum. That's kind of sort of missing from the Masoretic, is that it says in the days of Messiah, the peace will increase in the land. So much so that these animals that are typically predators and preys are going to be joined together in peace.
Yeah.
Even down to the beasts of the field, they will be joined together in peace. And this made me think of, was it Solomon's Temple, where you had read something about the steps and how there was a lion and a lamb facing each other.
Yeah, so this is Legends
were,
of the Jews, and it's also in the Jewish encyclopedia. So those are traditions passed down by the Jews. But yeah, there was separate. So you'd have a lion looking at.
There were statues of them, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. A wolf and a lamb, either on both sides, and they were actually mechanical, which is fascinating. But
I don't know why that just kind of struck me. I'm wondering if that kind of lines up with what we read here in Isaiah 11. If those were the specific animals, and why? Like
it was the same animals on Solomon's steps in his temple that he had built.
Yeah.
Not the temple in his Solomon's house. I guess it's called something else, but his house. But that's what in his throne.
It's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's incredible. I guess I can go right here to Acts of Philip.
Okay.
Acts of Philip. This is in the Great Commission books by Zen Garcia. I recommend picking these up because I think it's really fascinating to read some of these gospels that they say that don't exist, or that we didn't have all these extra gospels. We talk about this all the time, especially you. You love this stuff.
I do.
But it's...
I'm obsessed with first century.
Yeah.
Post-Yeshua, first century. There's a huge gap there in our understanding of what happened. And
we don't just have four gospels. It's kind of ridiculous to think that we just had four from this Messiah, the first man who came and was resurrected. Like, it's amazing, and there's just four little books that are kind of very the same.
Four little books and only three. I said, like, people probably get sick of me talking about it, but I'm sorry. I think it's one of the biggest ahas I had after, in the last several years of reading the New Testament and realizing how it's missing a critical piece of history, which is Yeshua's disciples, their actual commission. I mean, he sends them out with the Great Commission, and then we jump right into Acts and the first church, and then Paul's ministry and his disciples' ministry, and we get a little bit of James, a little bit of John, a little bit of Peter, and that's it. And then we're missing more of Yeshua, and we're missing pretty much all of the disciples, their Great Commission, their martyrdom, their persecution, their ministry of spreading the gospel, the repentance. They're all of that. We're missing all, anyways. But I think what's also so beautiful in the New Testament that I will say that I love is the sense of urgency, which kind of pairs nicely with what you're saying about no 2,000-year gap.
Yeah,
Why
I mean, they
would there
knew.
be such a sense of urgency if their whole mission was just just spend the rest of your lives preaching, teaching, discipling, baptizing people in the name of Yeshua. Go do that, but it's gonna be quite a ways before I come back. No.
I think most of them knew and agreed with the weekly timeline, Kiliism, which is like the, it's the the idea of eschatology going by a weekly standard. So when we look at the LXX timeline, we believe Yeshua, he's prophesied to do this. You know, look at the book of Nicodemus, the book of Adam and Eve, the Testament of Adam.
Yeah.
Probably some more, I can't remember, but it's prophesied that he would come back in year 5,500. So I do think they knew they had about 500 years ish until that millennial kingdom, which is the Sabbath rest from the world. If the Sabbath is done away with, the millennial kingdom is done away with.
Oh, that's a good point.
Does that make sense?
That's
like
a
you
good
can't
point.
like I just like people. It boggles my mind, and I'm not mad at people. It's sad because they'll do away with the laws of the kingdom, but still try to teach that about the kingdom. It's like, well, you can't have a lawless kingdom. The kingdom existed upon laws.
Yeah.
It still does.
Yeah.
And you know, you might as well get used to doing the Torah here on the earth because you're going to be doing it forever in the kingdom.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
your spirit will conform.
Yeah, you're going to have to.
With or without you.
You're going to have to. You'll be kicked out.
Yeah.
And you'll be weeping and gnashing of teeth.
Yeah.
Anyways, so the Acts of Philip is absolutely incredible. It mirrors the same. There's like 3 books here. Acts of Philip. Just in case you're looking for it, and you can get this free online. Most of this you can read online. Well, I don't know what they're called. I'll have to find them. But
what are you looking for?
there's like 3 different books. They're
Philip?
all basically about the same story. So
Oh, okay, yeah.
Philip goes, and I can't remember if it's in if he goes to Crete or Cyprus. I'm not really sure where he's going, but he's going. There's a guy called the Tyrant, and he's going. He calls him a viper as well. And then there's this huge viper statue being that they feed the blood of men to. So they actually squeeze the blood of people, kill them, squeeze them like grapes, and feed it to this viper. That's what it's talking about. It's pretty crazy.
Intense.
But they go there to preach the gospel, the good news. What's the good news? The kingdom is here. The good news of the kingdom. And you can go in freely now. If you just accept the payment for your sin, you can actually go in. You can be forgiven of your sin and pursue righteousness and actually, get the gift of righteousness that so many people worked for, and now you get it right at the end.
Yeah.
Your works do follow you. It's pretty incredible. So that's what they're trying to preach to the entire world. Philip is going with Bartholomew and Miriam, and they basically are getting martyred. But they carry around this really cool thing, and that's what I kind of wanted to read here. They are with them. They're trying to, preach this to the people, preach the gospel. And it says, now therefore, and this is Philip talking, he said, now therefore I command you that when I have gone forth from my body, you shall build a church in this place. I'm sorry. Let me just give it just a little bit of backstory. Philip's being hung by his Achilles tendons on this wall. Bartholomew is being his hands and feet spread out on their temple and nailed to the temple, and they're dying. And Miriam is being dragged naked. She was stripped naked and dragged by horses on the street, and basically just being, cut up. And while this is happening, Miriam turns to glass, and a fire is seen in her. You can see through her, and you can see this fire burning inside of her heart, and people freak out. They absolutely freak out. They're like, get her away. She's freaking us out. Philip's sitting there, and Philip basically commands that Sheol opens up and swallows all these people alive. And so Sheol does open up, swallows all the people alive, and then Yeshua comes down. John makes this triumphant appearance, which is really cool. They're like,
John's here.
They're like, where's John? And all of a sudden, John shows up, and the whole,
everyone's freaking out.
And John's like some superhero showing up. But anyways, Yeshua comes down, and he says, Philip, what are you doing? It's like, you don't exact vengeance. You don't exact evil for evil.
Eye for an eye.
There's a verse that says, rarely does the anger of men produce the righteousness of Elohim. I can't remember where that's at, but that's a really incredible verse.
I love that verse.
So that should kind of
vengeance is mine, though, says Yehovah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. That's it.
That should kind of make us pause, especially, I mean, I know in this time we are all waking up to truth, but we are all becoming enemies of each other. We've had it happened in our own lives, but all around us, it seems like everyone is angry at somebody or each other
Something.
and something. It's hard. There's a balance because when you come to Torah, you have to stand strong for the truth, but also you have to be loving.
You have
So
to
there
let,
is a balance.
yeah, let Yahuwah fight for you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's I say that verse all the time, and it's because it really
That's
is
Sirach.
true. What did I say?
No, I'm just curious. What is that?
Yes,
Sirach?
it's Sirach. Strive for the truth unto death, and Yahuwah will fight for you.
Yes, that's it. Yeah.
You strive for the truth unto death, but there's a way to love people in the process.
Yeah.
There's a way to love someone and still stand for the truth.
Yeah.
And to maintain the fruit of the Spirit through it. And maintaining the fruit of the Spirit while also holding on to that truth and fighting for the truth is very hard, because that is the perfect balance of the Spirit and the flesh working together and not opposing one another, right?
Well, that's a narrow path. You think about a narrow path, it's narrow. You have to balance on it.
Yeah.
You can't just run down it because it's narrow. You have to balance, and you have to hurdle over the rocks.
Yes.
You have to skip through the briars, and you have to balance. So the whole thing about the Torah should be kept in balance. And not that, I'm not saying that you shouldn't keep parts of it. What I'm saying is there is a time to be strict, super strict with parts of the Torah, and there's a time to it's hard to say this in the right way, but look at Abraham. Abraham lied about Sarah to protect Sarah.
Protect her.
Now, was that breaking the Torah? Technically, yeah, he lied. But there are times, just like there's a time to kill and there's a time not to kill.
Ecclesiastes is.
Yeah.
Go read the Aramaic Targum of Ecclesiastes. That specific chapter 3, I think, and it's
Absolutely
gives you,
amazing.
Yeah, says there's a time to stone your kids.
Sure. There's a time to show mercy.
It was biblical.
There is a time for eye for an eye. I believe in capital punishment. Eye for an eye is it. In stoning, death for homosexuals, death for transgenders. Now, I would never do that. Google. But that is the law. Okay?
Well, and our nation believes in capital punishment.
Yeah, our nation, you're right.
Believes and promotes capital punishment. That is a fact.
Absolutely.
Through electrocution, through intravenous, is that the right word? Intravenous methods.
Well, Texas just approved the firing squad. I think it's Texas. One of the states just approved the firing squad again, which there is a time to take an eye for an eye. People who do things, yes, but there is also a time to turn the other cheek.
And be merciful.
And to be merciful. And the problem is people were seeking an eye for an eye and seeking to get the neighbor's eye when they should have turned their cheek and been like, okay, it's okay. Yeah. Because you've repented. Okay, anyways, so going back to the, so I was saying, Philip is hanging, and John Yeshua is basically telling Philip, listen, I know you're hanging from your Achilles tendons, but you shouldn't have been telling them, swallowing up with Sheol. So anyways, these people come back, he pulls them out of Sheol, they go to take Philip down, and Philip says, no, I deserve to be here because I sinned, let me die here. And basically he has to sit outside of paradise for 40 days or 40 years.
I can't remember, but that's an important point because
I'd love to be
able
to tell y'all what the exact time. I think it was 40 days, but it could have been 40 years. Anyways, he has to...
it's an extended period of time, whatever it is.
He can't go directly to paradise. So that's a good thing. We have also talked about this, that Yeshua has the gates of Sheol, that maybe we no longer go to Sheol.
He has the keys to the gate.
Keys to the gate to Sheol and the keys to heaven as well.
Sure.
So, or the keys to paradise. So I've thought about that for a while. It's like, do we go to Sheol as 2 Ezra 7 says, or can we bypass that? I think we can bypass Sheol now after the advent of Messiah. I do think we can go to paradise.
Yeah, and I think there's something interesting about that too when you read Revelation 20, because I think we have this idea that there is a judgment day for all people, right? That Yahuwah. Hold on, I just want to talk about that just for 1 second because just 1 second. Hold on. What does it say? Revelation 20.
Those that are living.
Says, right. I saw the dead, small and great, standing before the throne, and books were open, and another book was open, which is the book of life, and the dead were judged from what was written in the books according to their works. And so it's the dead that are judged.
The dead that are judged, and we can get eternal life by Messiah. So I do think that if you walk as he walked, and you stay in him, stay in the vine, I do think that you can gain that eternal life.
Mm-hmm.
Correct?
Correct.
I think you can gain that eternal life straight to paradise, just as the thief on the cross. And there's loopholes around that if we want to go the other way, that the thief on the cross got to see paradise for 7 days, just like 2nd Ezra says, and then had to go to profound sleep and quiet and wait.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make sense. I mean, to me, it doesn't make sense. Pre-Messiah, it does, because that was the curse given to Adam.
Yeah.
To have to sit and wait for wait for the end of the week to be able to go back. So anyways,
we're digressing a bit, but that's what we do.
Yeah. So let's just go back, because this is fascinating. If you didn't catch this, because this is really cool. Mm-hmm. Well, no, there's way more better things that we said. Way better things that we said. Not way more better things. Okay. So anyways, yeah, that was great grammar.
You're not teaching the boys that in English.
Yeah. It says. So he says, now therefore I command you that when I have gone forth from my body, this is Philip talking, he's about to die, and he's saying, let me die. You shall build a church in this place. Okay. By the way, there is a church for the Apostle Philip, and it is in Hierapolis. This is where they are. They're in Hierapolis. It is a dome octagon, which is incredible. And I do want to talk.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. I really want to talk about, but I'm just so enthralled, and excited, and the amount of information that's coming out with this. No, it's not coming out. It's just that the Spirit is revealing. It's so incredible. I'm just excited. I'm not I just love I love the ambulant structures. That's what they are, the ambulant structures.
Ooh, that's a fancy word.
Well, it means domed octagonal shapes. So it's the domed octagonal instructions. They're ambulants, which I think is so absolutely fascinating. Even Peter's house in Capernaum is an octagon. The mock temple on Mount Gerizim that the Samaritans were worshiping in is an octagon. It got destroyed after they dedicated it to Jupiter. So much fun.
Okay.
That's not even the point, but I just love that. Okay, so they built the church.
Come on.
And it says, and let Nicanora provide for them until they shall go forth from my body. Oh, I skipped it. I'm sorry. Okay, build the church, and let the leopard and the kid of the goats come into the church for a sign to those that believe. Wow. The leopard and the kid go into the church for a sign to those that believe. Now, if you keep reading, there's two other versions of the Acts. Let me just tell you what they are. It's Acts of Philip, the additions to Acts of Philip. Okay, so there's two. I'm sorry. The Acts of Philip and the additions to Acts of Philip. This leopard and kid were going around with them. They had a leopard and a kid that were dwelling safely together, and they talked. Mm. The leopard and kid talked. Now, some of y'all might say, "Oh, that's just crazy. This is Gnostic teaching." Well, we have a Bible that believes in talking donkeys. A man that was born of a virgin. A man walked on water. A man was swallowed by a whale, went down to Sheol for 3 days, and then was thrown back up. I mean, come on now. We have
we believe those stories, but we won't believe this.
We have an Elohim who created all this in 7 days. This beautiful firmament above us, this handiwork. He created all this in 7 days.
King Nebuchadnezzar was turned into an actual beast of the field.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, probably a satyr.
Oh, he was turned into a satyr?
I think he was turned into a satyr.
I mean, there's countless
incredible
crazy stories in the Bible.
Incredible things, and the Bible is just dipping your toe into the craziness. Go into Legends of the Jews and things like that, and you will be your mind will be blown. You read Enoch. I know a lot of y'all are getting into Enoch and a Nephilim and things like that. I mean, my goodness, what do we think this scripture's about? It's so wildly crazy. I mean, it's just absolutely insane. So, Philip, Bartholomew, was Philip a disciple? I can't remember. I think Philip and I know Bartholomew was, but I thought Philip was too.
Yes.
2 disciples. Miriam, I think this is Bartholomew's sister, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm sorry. Also, the most underscored is the amount of women that followed Yeshua.
Oh, sure. So
many female
many.
Disciples that we know so little about.
Yeah.
And you get to know a lot of them in the Great Commission books.
So many incredible
So cool.
things. And these were preaching, walking around with a leopard and a goat.
Okay, yeah.
Leopard and a kid of goats, showing that the kingdom was here. It was meant to be a sign that the kingdom was here. Things were starting to begin. Remember, I said that seed has to be planted. It begins tiny, and it becomes a giant tree 500 years later. It took over the entire earth. Well, it began to take over the entire earth within just a few years. Paul even comes around, I think, like 12 years later or 15 years later after Messiah, and says the gospel's been preached to the entire earth. And it began to be preached. People, those seeds started dying and going into the ground. And by the death of those seeds, they come back up. And then there's a resurrection event, obviously. And then you have all these things, the kingdom begins to sprout. And when the kingdom begins to sprout, then wickedness starts to die off, because there's a rod of righteousness going out to exact vengeance upon the wicked. This is Enoch 93. So when we read this in Isaiah 11, people will be like, hey, where's the lamb and the wolf? Where's the leopard and the kid? It was already there.
Yeah.
It was already there, and they were walking around. And not only were they there, but they could talk. This leopard and this goat were talking. That's insane.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And they were put in an octagonal church to show that this is what's going to happen. The kingdom is here. Get ready.
Yeah.
It's here. Now, this is what I do believe, and this is what, if we keep going, we can keep. You want to keep reading this?
Yeah, we can. I mean, because it's. I can continue reading.
I mean, we could do just like a whole study on Isaiah 11. I mean, this is, but when we keep reading this, it says, "And no hurt will be done in my holy mountain, at all in my holy mountain." Okay, so this is, we got to understand the kingdom is not totally peaceful, and that it's not prophesied to be. There was sin in the kingdom. It's prophesied to be that. Zechariah 14 tells you that some people won't celebrate Sukkot, and they won't receive rain on their land. Look at the places in the earth that have no rain. Israel being one of them.
Yeah.
Israel being one of them. When we look at old maps, Israel did have quite a bit of water. There is a number of maps showing boats right on the coast, right almost next to the walls of Jerusalem.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the Jordan River or if it's an actual coastline. But I do believe maybe the Jordan River was actually way bigger than what we think of it today, and it was actually was flowing with milk and honey, that area. And we do have a number of people. John Mandeville writes this. Jirius Travels, the Bordeaux Pilgrim. They all write about pilgrimages to Jerusalem, and some of the pilgrimages are only by water. So you can get to Jerusalem by water. Can you do that today? No, you can't. And so when we look at what this land used to look like, most of the Arab countries right now, places like that, even Africa and Ethiopia, they've lost their water. The tongue of the Egyptian sea, which is at the end of Isaiah 11, is going to be changed, going to be dried up. I do believe maybe this could be in two ways. If you look in old maps, the tongue of the Egyptian sea used to look different. It doesn't look that way anymore. This is why Egypt was destroyed.
Yeah.
And this is why we see most of Egypt. I mean, they dug the Sphinx out of the ground in the 1800s. It was under sand, and most of the pyramids were as well. So they had to dig these things out, and they're still digging today. These things are buried because the tongue of the Egyptian sea has dried up. The other way to look at it is the tongue of the Egyptian sea maybe being the Nile, which is the Euphrates. Could be that they crossed the Euphrates as predicted in 2nd Ezra 13. Okay. So these places, because there was sin in the kingdom, didn't receive rain. And there's other things. There was other sinful places, but where was there no sin? In my holy mountain.
Yeah.
My holy mountain, there was no sin. And so where's that holy mountain? So I do believe that it was probably the extreme parts of the north. I do believe that is the true Zion. Is north probably the Rupus Nigra, which is the black magnetic mountain that may or may not still be there. I do believe that's where it existed. Now, I do believe the daughter of Zion, which is Jerusalem, it is supposed to be the image, the on earth as is in heaven. Jerusalem that we know today is the historic Jerusalem. It is the biblical Jerusalem. I know there's a lot of people who don't believe that. But I have read, and I'm not like boasting or anything, but the things that I have read,
Mm-hmm.
I've read enough. Um, I've read a lot that the historical accounts, and these are not this isn't mainstream history. This is like things that have gotten through the cracks. Um, that place in Jerusalem today, in the Levant, the Middle East, is in fact the historical Jerusalem, at least for the last 2,500 years. Okay, now I'm okay with after Babylon, maybe Ezra and Nehemiah didn't know where they were going,
Mm-hmm.
and they went to some land they didn't actually go back. But I do think they went back. But I'm just saying, I'm okay if we want to say that maybe they switched it up then, and David's kingdom, Solomon's kingdom, was actually somewhere else. That's totally fine. But I do believe that at least 2,500 years ago, for the last 2,500 years, it has been the same Jerusalem that it is today.
Yeah.
There's just too much historical, mainstream and non-mainstream evidence that that's where it is. Now,
Yeah.
the holy mountain where the saints went and dwell, the camp of the saints, you got to remember, and the Gog and Magog war goes against the camp of the saints and the holy city, Jerusalem. So I do believe it's going against two places: the camp of the saints, that's at the bottom of the paradise, awaiting. It's a city awaiting for paradise, for its on earth as in heaven, for it to reunite with paradise. So I do believe this is in northern region, and so probably where we would say the North Pole is. Um, and I don't believe it's actually there anymore. I believe it's left, and the ice that has appeared, that is the opening of the bottomless pit. It's prophesied that in Enoch 93 that there would be an ice age where ice would come back and come back there at the poles, and that's the releasing of the watchers. And probably
That's what we're experiencing.
that's what we're experiencing. Probably Hasatan, or if not Hasatan, it could be Azazel, but I don't know. Azazel, and Enoch says he's going to be in forever, so I don't know. But I know I got off topic a little bit.
Well, Isaiah 11, I think in general, I think is such a good. It's such a good prophecy, but there's so much to it. If you just kind of start really digging into each verse, and you start pairing that with what you said, mainstream and non-mainstream history, to say, okay, well, what is this really saying? And could it be that this has actually already happened?
Yeah.
And oh, by the way, you also pair that with, the first century writings, as well as many of the gospels in your canon that indicate that there was a great sense of urgency and a need to get the gospel spread throughout the whole world very quickly.
Yeah.
And Paul confirms that was done, right? Paul says that the gospel was spread, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
went out for all the nations. Yeah, I mean, there was, like you said, there is urgency. They were like, we got to get this done.
Yeah, we got to get this done, and so I think that lends itself to confirming the idea of a tighter timeline.
Yeah.
That exists. But also Isaiah 53. I want to provide the link for the Aramaic Targum when we post this video, because I would encourage folks to just go read the Targum, Isaiah. Mm-hmm. It's so beautiful, but it really builds upon this idea of Messiah's second advent. And when you get to Isaiah 53, which we commonly refer to as the suffering servant chapter, the one that describes Yeshua's death, resurrection, to bear humanity's sins, you read it in the Targum, and it paints part of that, but it paints a bigger picture of the millennial kingdom, really.
Sure.
And his return to bring on peace. And I love it, and it's so good, and it just I read it and I see it so differently now.
Yeah.
And really it builds upon that. Isaiah 52, when we read this with that in mind, I guess sometime last year when we went through Isaiah and studied it, and we read the Aramaic Targum side by side, I was like, whoa, I was just blown away. I was blown away by how little I actually looked at it. I looked at it as more of, this is all about his first coming, like his birth and his death and his burial and his resurrection. Yeah. But it's so much more than that. It's so much bigger than that.
Well, read it in everything, in Psalms, read the Torah, Aramaic Targum. I mean, I think it's just incredible.
Yeah.
And some people would say this has rabbinic commentary. Your Masoretic has rabbinic commentary.
Yeah.
They changed the timelines. And so, but I think there's just so much available truth within these writings.
Mm-hmm.
Would you want to read that?
Oh, I mean, I guess I could.
Oh.
Did you want me to
Okay.
read Isaiah 53?
Oh, you're just kind of suggesting that people go read it.
I could read it if you want me to. I didn't know that we'd have time to do it.
No,
We're already an hour in.
If you are interested in this, go read it. And like you said, you're going to put the link.
Yeah, because it's easy. And can I show them this real
And you
quick?
can it's
Googleable.
You can Googleable.
But you can buy these Aramaic Targums. Noel has, from Unexpected Cosmology, he's got some, but you can buy these actually.
Zen Garcia's got
Zen
some too.
Garcia's got some.
Single World Publishing.
You can buy these on Amazon. They are very expensive. I've tried to find all of these in PDFs, and I have not been able to find them all in PDFs online. But Isaiah is one. It costs about $100 to buy it in print, but you can get it for free, or you can buy it. I think Noel has it like half the price. Maybe even Zen does too. So there's ways.
Too, yeah. Psalms has his. You can get the Psalms Aramaic.
And it's got
Targum as well.
it's got the names translated. It's actually got the restored
Sure.
names in it. But anyways, I don't know. I won't read it because I think it kind of.
No, let it's homework.
Yeah, homework. You'll be so blessed by the reading of Isaiah 53, especially with our current understanding of what it is. But then if you also have the mindset and the view of the millennial kingdom has happened, it just reads. It is so millennial kingdom forward.
It's all millennial kingdom. Yeah.
It is so millennial kingdom forward. It's beautiful. Go read it.
And that's I think what we want to really stress with when we're reading these prophets and talking about them is because these prophecies for Messiah that are within the prophets, they are followed immediately by what he's going to do, how he's going to take over the world. I didn't even read this part. If I can just read this real quick. It's verse 11.
Yes,
so Isaiah 11:11 says, "It shall come to pass in that day that Yahweh shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people, who shall be left from Assyria, from Egypt, from Pathros, from Cush, from Elam, from Shinar, and Hamath, and from the islands of the sea. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth." The second Exodus, guys. Second Exodus. The first time he gathered his people on Passover. The second time he gathered his people on Passover. With Yeshua dying, becoming the symbolic Passover lamb. Not replacing the Passover lamb, but becoming a symbolic Passover lamb. He is not a lamb, he is a man. But anyways, but I think that's incredible because he came for the lost tribes, the children of Israel. That's what he said he came for. And he says he will set up an ensign or a symbol or a banner. This is a banner for the Gentiles, the nations, the Goyim. Shall assemble the outcasts of Israel. So he came for the lost tribes of Israel and set up a banner for the Gentiles. That's that Tav that was across the entire world. You see people even today wearing the Tav necklace or a cross necklace. You see how many nations in the world have their flags or the Tavs. Look at the Knights Templars, the Crusaders. They're all wearing a Tav. A lot of your ships, your Roman ships, Tavs on the sails. Tavs everywhere because it was a banner to the nations. It doesn't make it idolatry unless you're worshiping it in the form of a god. but it's absolutely incredible. We do see this as a banner to the nations. The whole nations embraced this banner, this Tav, and Israel got to come back.
I feel like we could just end it right there.
There's so much more.
Well,
we could keep going. What were you gonna say?
Well, I do want to read this verse. I see. It's homework, but then I want to just loop it. I want to kind of bring it back full circle to a lawful kingdom, which is a series we just did. A very lengthy series we just did about the millennial kingdom was lawful. A lawful king with a constitution or the Torah that he ruled the nation. He ruled the entire world with. But this is beautiful. You got to read the whole thing. But Yehoshua's talking about, Isaiah is saying that that he will hand over the wicked to Gehenna, those rich in possessions, which they rob to the death of the corruption, lest those who commit sin be established and speak of possessions with their mouth. Yet before Yahuwah it was a pleasure to refine and to cleanse the remnant of his people, in order to purify their soul from sins. They shall see the kingdom of their Messiah. They shall increase sons and daughters. They shall prolong days. Those who perform the law, the Torah of Yahuwah, shall prosper in his pleasure. From the slavery of the Gentiles he shall deliver their soul, and they shall see the retribution of their adversaries. They shall be satisfied with the plunder of their kings. By his wisdom shall he make innocents to be accounted innocent, to subject many to the law. And he will beseech concerning their sin. And he will divide the plunder of many people, and he will divide the spoil and possessions of strong fortresses, because he handed over his soul to the death and subjected the rebels to the law. He subjected the rebels to the law. And yet he will beseech concerning the sins of many, and to the rebels it shall be forgiven for him. That's Isaiah 53.
You talk about many be handed to the death. I mean, we know, and we can talk about this on another video, but when we talk about the plague of Justinian, and when the sun was darkened in 536, 93 million people died in Europe. That was a third of Europe at the time, were killed. And there's so much more across the world. They didn't even count those in Ethiopia and Africa and all these other places where they were being killed. It's insane. What happened to this earth then and in the 1500s. You had death there, 1500s. We do have evidence of a resurrection. We haven't talked about that yet. There's a lot of things that I think that we are really super excited about talking about, but at the same time, it's we kind of live in a world where I don't know that we need to talk about those things anymore. So and there's a lot of things we do want to talk about, because we do want to do a resurrection video talking about the resurrection. We do believe it is here, and we all know about it, and it actually happened. And they're trying to hide it. We've had 2 resurrections, I believe. So anyways, that was incredible. I just think that when we look at this, like I said, Messiah, prophecies for Messiah, the branch coming, followed immediately by a millennial kingdom. And that's what he was to bring on. And the people don't know he's their Messiah. The Jews right now do not know he's Messiah, because they don't know the true history of their own people. They don't even know the true history of just like we don't. We're learning it now. We didn't even know all these things existed, just 500 years ago. So we don't actually know what was really going on, because the devil has done his best to hide it, and to change times and seasons and to hide this information.
Deception.
Yeah. So I would just encourage you, like, this is an incredible thing. I love searching out prophecy and things like this. But the number one thing is aligning your life to the instructions of the Most High, to His Torah. That's the number one thing. You need to do that, because in doing that, you are a follower of Messiah. You walk as He walked. And then believe in Him, of course, because He's your Messiah. That's an instruction as well. Believe on my only begotten Son. So, in believing all the instructions of the Father. All right.
Well said.
Shalom. Talk to y'all later.
Have a wonderful day. Bye.